Growing up in African American churches, it's always had its pros and cons. Um, like ever since I was little, I've always had to go to Sunday school. From starts at like 9, then probably ends around 11, 11:30, and then church starts around about 12. Then you don't get out till maybe 4, 3:30 because like you eat, like it's a long service. Like you sweat, you're tired, and you can't go nowhere because your grandma's sitting right there saying no, you're not going nowhere. You sitting right there listening to church, and so uh, this quote really spoke out to me. Ooh, never mind, you can't see it. I'm sorry. This quote right here spoke out to me because I love to play the tambourine. And it says, praise him with the timbrel and dance, praise him with stringed instruments and organs. So there's a lot of stringed instruments in my church, a lot of them. Like there's one that I'm not really sure of. It's called like the Hawaiian guitar. Have any of y'all heard of that Hawaiian guitar? You have? That is, yeah. I just found out like what it was. The original name of it was like a few weeks ago. The denomination of my church is Pentecostal. They're very loud. They express a lot of emotion. You have speaking in. Have you ever heard somebody speak in tongue? There's a lot. There's a lot of that at my church. A lot, like a lot of it. Um, the history of it. Back during slavery in America, many slaves they did worry about how slaves did associate with each other, and because they didn't like it when slaves would come together and pray because they thought that slaves were praying against them. I didn't know that. I thought that was a little odd. But I found out that Christianity was a very big part of the slave community. Like the slaveries loved to get together and just sing and talk with the Lord. With the genre of these churches, oops, sorry, I forgot you can't see it on here. You have a wide variety like around the world. So there, I mean, we have a church convention and it's in Raleigh. We go to Raleigh every year, and it's around like June. And there's this guy that comes and he plays the trumpet. The first time I heard it, it really spooked me out. I never felt like I would hear a trumpet in church. But I was talking to my grandma about it, and she said it's like a symbolization of something. I can't remember what she told me it would symbolize, but it would symbolize like the meaning of I think God coming back or just like coming back to the sound of a trumpet. I think she said something like that along those lines. I have a few videos to show you guys, and instead of it being called for a funeral, like when African Americans have funerals, they're called homegoing services. My grandma told me this was like you're putting your loved one to rest, but you're giving their life to the Lord. They're living with the Lord, so they don't really see it as a sad time. Like you'll see in the video, there's not really much crying, like as you would normally see at a normal funeral. Here's my first video. This is our church in Raleigh. It's probably going to be really loud. Is there any way I can turn it down a little bit?
Sure.
Where is that at?
There's yeah.
Bottom right side, right?
Bottom right side, and there's a
Oh,
little
there
black
it
one.
is.
75.
No, it wasn't.
Gonna
I didn't.
explode.
I'll say 50. Oops, sorry. Why is my life being complicated?
I think when you step back, you like touch the board.
my second video is at my uncle's funeral. And those are actually my two godbrothers. That's the history of African American churches. Oh, and I used two amazing sources. My first source was